how I manifested changing my reality in just 15 minutes. Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome back to my channel. This is Priya, your manifestation coach. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing how I changed my reality in just 15 minutes, even though the odds were stacked against me. So let's get started. How I changed my reality in just 15 minutes. So about a month ago, I was booked to go on an Abraham Hicks Greek island cruise. So my husband and I had been planning this for a while, and it was something that we were excited about because 5 years ago we actually met on an Abraham Hicks Greek island cruise. So this would have sort of been our anniversary, plus our friends were coming with us. So we were really looking forward to this amazing cruise with Abraham. And the idea was that I would fly out to London about 1 week before the cruise so that I could spend some time with my family. And then from there, I would catch a flight from London to Rome because the ship was sailing from Rome. And my husband would fly directly from the US to Rome and we would meet there. So I'm in London and I had a wonderful time with my parents and with my family. And it's the night before I'm supposed to fly out to Rome. And so it's a Friday and I'm supposed to fly out on a Saturday. My flight is at like 9 a.m. and it's 9 p.m. on a Friday, and suddenly I get a notification on my phone that says your flight has been cancelled. And there's no reason for why the flight got cancelled. And at this point, because it's 9 p.m., the hotline for the airline was closed. So there was nobody that I could contact. So then I'm like, okay, no problem. I'm just going to book another flight. So I get online and I start searching for flights. And there are no flights to Rome. Like 0 flights to Rome from London. So there's no direct flights. And I'm like, this is so odd. So I'm looking for direct flights for maybe Sunday or even Monday. And Monday was sort of the last day because Monday is when the ship would have been sailing, started sailing. So whatever happened, I would have to be in Rome by Monday, otherwise I would miss the cruise. And there are no flights available. The next direct flight that was available was on Monday, but it would land at 3 p.m. And this was cutting it really fine because the ship would set sail at 5 p.m. And I'm like, what is going on? I didn't actually know that at that time there was a strike in Rome, an airport strike or air traffic control strike in Rome. Like I had no idea about this, but that's what happened that day. So I'm like searching for flights and they're like, no flights available. So then I'm like, well, looking for alternative ways to get there. So I'm looking at connecting flights. So you could, for example, go from like London to Switzerland, but then to Rome, but then it would be like a 21-hour flight. So I wasn't finding anything. And at this point, I start stressing. I call up my husband and he's, getting ready to hop on his flight to fly out to Rome. And he's in the US and he's like, just keep looking, I'm sure something will come up. So I keep looking, but I'm stressed. At this point, I'm in survival mode. The fear starts to arise within me. There are no flights. I'm not sure if I'm going to make the cruise. What am I going to do? And so I start to think worst case scenario. I think I'm going to miss it. Like, oh my gosh, what if I miss it? Like all these thoughts starts to pop into my mind. And so I'm more stressed. And the more stressed I'm feeling, the more in survival mode I am, it's like the more action I wanted to take in the 3D. So I keep searching like vigorously. Searching every platform for any flights available from London to Rome. At this point, I was just like, any flights between Saturday and Sunday would be great. And I'm not finding anything. There's just 0 available. And so this happened for about 15 minutes. I would say I was in that energy of fear and survival mode for about a good 15 minutes before I paused and I stopped and I noticed what was going on with my energy. So at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm in fear, I'm in survival mode. There's no way I can manifest a different outcome if I'm in this energy. So at that point, I pause, I stop, and I decide to actually just go within. So I'm in front of my computer, but I sit down and I'm like, the only thing that matters right now is self-regulating my emotions and getting back into my heart so that I'm back in alignment. That's the only thing that matters right now. Right? It doesn't matter about trying to fix it, trying to solve it, just get back into your heart, Priya, is what I was telling myself. So I did it. I sat in front of my computer and I began to do some breath work. And I began to focus on nothing. So I became pure consciousness. I began to focus in between my eyebrows here, and I would be doing the breath work, and I would just be breathing in and out, focusing on nothing, right? So that I became still. Did this for about a couple of minutes, and I instantly felt my emotions and my energy shift from that of survival mode back into alignment, back into my heart, where I felt centered, grounded, and balanced again. From there, I then made a decision. I remember thinking to myself, if I am truly an extension of Source, if I am truly a fractal of the divine, then I am manifesting being on this trip. There is no other outcome, there is no other possibility other than the fact that I am on this cruise. So it was a decision in the moment that I made within myself with a firm intention. And more than even the decision, it was the energy. Suddenly there was this energy of empowerment that surged through me. This energy of invincibility that surged through me, where I really went within and reminded myself, I am an extension of Source. I am, a fractal of the divine. If I am truly the universe, then I am manifesting a reality where I'm on that ship. I am tuning into that version of reality that already exists in the quantum field. I'm shifting to that parallel reality. And I was very decisive about this. Then I dropped into my heart again, and I went into my imagination, and I pictured what it would be like on the cruise on the last day with my friends and with my husband. So I'm now moving into the future in my imagination, and I'm on the last day on the cruise, and with my husband and my friends, we're reminiscing about how amazing the cruise was. So in my imagination, I had already been on the cruise. So I went to the end. And I remember feeling goose pimples when I went into my imagination and thought this. I felt so good about it. And I probably did this for about a minute or 30 seconds. It was really quick. Then I just dropped it. Then I felt inspired to go on my computer again and to look for flights. So again, in the search bar, I'm looking for flights from London to Rome. And I kid you not, suddenly a flight pops up from London to Rome for Saturday, for the next day. And there were like 2 more seats left, 2 more business class seats left on that flight, which was perfect because that was exactly what I was looking for, like business class seats, and there were 2 left. So I quickly click on it and I purchase my ticket. I download my boarding pass, so it's all on my phone. And so everything's ready now. I'm like, oh my gosh, wow. Like that came out of nowhere because I'd been searching and searching and searching, and that flight did not exist about 15 minutes ago. And after I did this, after I had my boarding pass on my phone and, I was booked onto a flight on the next day to Rome, I'm thinking to myself, did I just miss seeing that before? Was that always there? So I go back online to search for flights from London to Rome. And then the same thing happened that happened previously before me booking that flight. Suddenly there was no flights available again from London to Rome. They were all gone. And I kid you not, this all happened within like 5 minutes. Suddenly like 0 flights available again. The next flight that's available is like on the Monday. And at that point I start laughing, and I didn't care because I was like, I'm already booked on a flight for tomorrow. I have my boarding pass. All is good. I am set for Rome. I'm going to be on the cruise. But in my mind, I was really laughing about what happened because I knew for sure. I was like, I tapped into a different parallel reality because I had changed my energy. And I was so decisive. Like for me, I was so unwavering in the sense that when I made that decision of, I am already on that cruise, there is no other possibility, I was very unwavering about that. I was like, there is no other possibility. I didn't entertain any other thoughts other than I'm on that cruise, it's already done. And so this window of portal opportunity showed up for me when the flight, after doing that, going into my imagination and imagining that I was already on the cruise and it was at the end of the cruise and I was reminiscing about how beautiful it was, I know I tapped into another timeline, another parallel reality, where that flight then popped up from London to Rome for the next day, that direct flight. And so this was something that, an experience that just reminded me how powerful we truly are, and that even if the odds are stacked against you, even if you're in survival mode at first, because that's just how you respond to it, like you start to panic, you're in fear, or you're feeling anxious, it does not matter. The only thing that matters is when you notice it, when you notice that you're in fear or you're in anxiety and that you're in survival mode, what do you choose to do about it? Like the minute you notice you're in a program, what do you choose to do about it in that moment? Because your choice matters. For me, I chose to stop and pause and self-regulate my energy and get back into vibrational alignment, get back into my heart. That was the only thing that mattered for me. And I did it. And then from there, I was able to go into my imagination and picture what it would be like to already have my manifestation, to already be on that cruise. And so because of this, I was able to manifest a different outcome. I know for sure if I hadn't stopped and paused and changed my energy, I would not have found those flights. And I don't think I would have made it on that ship that day for the Monday, because there was a flight that I found that said, well, you can fly it on Monday, but you would land at 3 p.m. and the ship was sailing at 5 p.m. and they don't wait if you're running behind. So yeah, it wouldn't have happened if I didn't change my energy. Another thing that I'm aware of is, everything that's happening in our reality is always a vibrational match. So there was something in me that called that into my experience. And I own that. I'm like, the fact that my flights got canceled and it nearly didn't happen, I nearly missed the cruise, is because there was something in me that was a vibrational match to that called it in. And the way that I view this is I don't really care about why I was a vibrational match to that outcome originally. Like, it doesn't really matter. All I care about is the fact that I was able to change it, right? So I'm not going to go and dig up the past and be like, oh, I wonder why that happened. What was I thinking? Blah, blah, blah. Like, that's irrelevant. The only thing that mattered to me in that moment when I wasn't finding flights and when it looked like it wasn't happening was about changing my energy. And that is the only thing that matters. It doesn't matter why something's coming to your experience. It only matters how you choose to respond to it now, because your power lies in the present moment. And something beautiful that actually happened after was, whilst this was all going on, my mum was witnessing it all. And, my mum had been watching the news at that point, and they're talking about, a strike going on in Rome with air traffic control. And so my mum's really worried, and my mum was thinking like I wasn't going to make it and that I wouldn't be able to go on the cruise. But she witnessed everything. Like, she witnessed me going from survival mode to pausing to getting back into alignment to then booking the flight. And when I actually landed in Rome and I met up with my husband, I then called her to let her know, look, I'm at the hotel, all is well. She, at that point on the phone, turned around and said to me, I want to learn what you're doing, because what you did was a miracle. Like, that for me was a moment where, for me, I was like, I feel like this is why I manifested this whole scenario. Number one, my mum got to witness me manifesting magic through this whole situation. Number two, it was for myself to remind myself how powerful I truly am. And number three, it was a beautiful way to soften my mom into this way of thinking and into this work, because now she's interested and she's coming to me and saying, what are you doing? I want to learn. So this was a really remarkable experience. And my message to you is, you are so powerful. If something is showing up in your reality that you do not like, that is not preferable, it doesn't matter. You can absolutely change it. You can absolutely shift it if you prioritize changing your energy. A little tip that I want to give here is, when things appear to not be going your way, like when shit hits the fan, the human analytical mind wants to try to control it through the 3D, through the action, right? It wants you to be like pushing against and trying to make it happen. Like for me initially, I was like vigorously searching and nothing was happening. I couldn't find the flights that I wanted because I was in the energy of survival mode. And when you're in survival mode, like you want to take a massive action to try and push through something or to try and solve it. And that never works because you get what you're an energetic match to. And so the key to this is to remember that when you're in survival mode, now is not the time to take action. It's the opposite. Now's the time to stop whatever the hell you're doing and focus on turning inwards, going within and changing your energy. That's the most important thing. Like once you do that, you open yourself up to new possibilities because now you're approaching the situation from a different level of consciousness, from a different energetic stance, which opens you up to new possibilities. And that's how you can begin to manifest something different into your reality. And this, whole process, I would say, took about like 15 minutes. Like my whole entire world changed within 15 minutes. Within that 15 minutes, I went from shit, I'm not going to make it on the Abraham Hicks cruise, to booking a flight, downloading my boarding pass, and getting on a direct flight from London to Rome. And I remember when we were descending in Rome on the flight, I remember them saying that this was the first flight from London to be descending into Rome that day because of the strikes that had gone on. So it was just all so synchronistic and so beautiful. And again, a wonderful example of how the universe really has worked out everything. Your only job is to become a vibrational match to it, and just trust in the process and trust in your divinity and have faith in it all. Now, if you would like to learn how to master your energy so that you can change your reality on demand and tap into a version of reality that is in alignment with what you desire, then you can get your hands on my manifestation courses by clicking the link below in the description box. Also, if you would like to learn how to manifest anything you want without taking action, then you can watch my video here next. Take no action to manifest it. Finally, thank you so much for being here. I love you. I appreciate you. Have a beautiful day or a wonderful evening. Mwah.